Hi vlog, my name is Jackie. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so as you can see, I'm doing something a little unconventional today because I'm just sitting here yapping in front of a camera, which I normally don't do, so please bear with me if it's a little awkward, but hopefully I can share some really helpful information. As you saw in the title of this video, it is about Duke, but instead of doing like a vlog style digital diary, which I normally do, I thought I'd come here and share some tips for incoming freshmen. I just completed my freshman year at Duke. It's currently May 20th, 2024, and I've been back home for about a month, and I really wanted to film this video because when I first got into Duke, I received a lot of help from upperclassmen, especially from my home high school who were attending Duke, and they gave me a lot of tips and helped me work through a lot of processes that Duke jumpstarts during the summer. So hopefully I can help guide those who are working through that as well and just give a little overview about my freshman year at Duke. I have my notes on my phone, so please excuse me if I'm looking down. This is geared for incoming freshmen in the fall, but honestly, whoever sees this video, and hopefully it's helpful, especially for those who might be interested in Duke and seeing what that college experience is like freshman year. Take everything with a grain of salt because I'm filming this in 2024, and I know they just did a big curriculum shift this semester, so incoming freshmen will probably have different graduation requirements than I do. Just keep that in mind. That car is moving so slow. Okay, well, first of all, congratulations. I know how relieving it can be to finally be done with the college application process and know where you're going to be going for the next 4 years. So congrats, that's super exciting, and Duke is really amazing, so I'm glad you chose Duke. Today I'll be covering the most foundational level topics, so without further ado, I guess I'll just get started. So topic number 1 is orientation. So Duke's orientation looks a little different, well, compared to the state schools around here that have their orientation over the summer and for 1 or 2 days. Duke's orientation is actually a week long, and it's the week before FDOC, or the first day of classes. So freshmen will move in early and they'll do an orientation for the entire week. Our orientation is called experiential orientation, shortened EXO, but we all call it O week. And during this time, you get split up into different project groups. There's around 24 different project groups, but each project group has a different focus. So I'm not quite sure if you guys have filled out the form for this, but it's a big Qualtrics survey where you rank the different project groups and they give you a little description blurb. But it's good to know that Project Wild, P Wild, goes in camps for the entire week, and you probably won't have access to a phone or a shower. P Waves is another one that goes off campus, and this is you spend the first half of the week at the Marine Lab and the second half of the week at the beach, or vice versa, and you also will not have access to a phone. And then P Citizens is, I think, the only other one that goes off campus. This one you go to DC. So all the other ones you stay on campus, which is just good to know. It's all preference based, so whatever you prefer. I was in Project Media, and I'll be returning as a Project Media orientation leader in the fall, so you should apply. But basically, there's mandatory talks, it's fun little activities throughout the week. I really liked Project Media because it was a strictly 9 to 5, and so I could spend my evenings making new friends or decorating my dorm or spending that time however I wanted to. I also liked Project Media because it was on campus, and so I got to explore Duke's campus before upperclassmen got there or classes started, which just made me feel more comfortable on Duke's campus. That's basically what orientation looks like. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it gets started right off the bat from after move-in day, which move-in day is a lot of fun because you probably will not lift a finger. As in, the orientation leaders will be there in front of your dorm, will hype you up, and then as soon as you get out, we'll be moving all of your stuff. The point is for you guys not to do any of the work, and so just be ready for that. It is a little hectic, but it's super fun. And make sure you have all of your boxes and stuff labeled. And this is a perfect segue into our second topic of dorms and housing. So I also don't know if you guys have filled out your housing application. Honestly, I don't know how much that is considered because housing is, yes, completely random. The housing portion is random, as well as the roommate portion is also random. But the housing program at Duke is called Quad X. Basically, how I like to describe it is it's like Hogwarts houses. So 2 dorms on East Campus. East Campus is where all of the freshmen live, and West Campus is where all of the upperclassmen live. So 2 of the dorms on East Campus are connected to a quad on West Campus. So Duke guarantees 4-year housing, which is really nice, and so as soon as you find your housing assignments, which I think happen in June, you'll basically know where you're going to be living for the next 4 years, which is kind of nice. So I will try. I haven't visited all of the dorms, but I visited all but 3. So I'll try to rank the best to worst East Campus dorms, just in my humble opinion. So yeah, here's a little list. Duke tries to balance it out pretty well. So if you're in a below average dorm on East Campus, you'll probably get a good quad connection. Freshman and sophomore year, you have to live on campus in your dorm or quad connection. So personally, I was put in ALSPA, which is like a little below average. I'll try to insert pictures if I can. And ALSPA is connected to the Kilgo quad, which is a pretty good quad connection because of proximity to campus. It's right next to the dining hall. And if you've seen my other videos, you know that I got injured earlier in this semester, around 2 weeks into classes, and so I got moved to Bell Tower, which is the second best dorm on East Campus. But because this was a temporary accommodation, I got to stay in the Kilgo quad, which is really good because Bell Tower goes to Eden's, which is a not so good quad connection simply because of location. It's like pretty far from everything. There's ways to finesse the system. I mean, you can join an LLC or an SLG, which stand for Living Learning Community, and I don't really know what SLG stand for. I think it's like social living groups or something like that. If you do that, you get to move quads. Another thing is, yes, like I mentioned, roommates are random, but honestly, I don't think anyone has had like a super bad experience. I mean, yeah, like roommate horror stories are real, but it's a very like small percentage. All of my friends are pretty content with their roommates, and if there's any issues, Duke is happy to work with you. I don't have too much personal experience I can share because I had a roommate, but again, I got injured like 2 weeks into classes, so I only lived with my roommate for around 3 weeks. She was super sweet. I loved her. She helped me a lot when I got injured. A big tip is to just like sit down at the beginning with your roommate and just talk through a couple of rules, write them down so you can hold each other accountable. We had said something like the first one to wake up and the first one to go to sleep controls the main light, so obviously you can keep your little light on anytime you want, but just like putting sleep as a priority. We had said that. It's not that bad, I promise. But yeah, that was housing. I will insert a video of what my dorm looked like. I was in, again, Bell Tower. After I got moved, I got placed in a dingle or a double single, so I did not have a roommate, which was really nice. But yeah. Okay, third topic is academics. So I kind of wanted to touch on this again. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, a lot of this is going to be changing because of the curriculum switch, and I only know like bits and pieces of the curriculum switch, so honestly I don't know how much help this is going to be. But I wanted to talk about the freshman requirements that I had. We had 2 classes. It was a writing 101 and a seminar class, and you have to take them in different semesters. Personally, I messed up during ad drop week. I dropped my seminar, and so I had to take both of them second semester, which was totally fine. But yeah, so seminar, there's like first year topics, but also languages will count as seminars. So I got my language requirement and my seminar out of the way by taking Korean 306. Highly recommend. It was such a good class. I love the professor. And then the second class you have to take is a writing 101. There are different topics. I took Decoding Disney, which is a popular one, and it was a lot of fun, but oopsies, I ran out of storage. But anyways, where was I? Decoding Disney is super fun. At the beginning of the semester, all of your homework is really easy. It's like literally like watch Frozen 1 and 2, watch Coco. Towards the very end though, it got like extremely crazy. We had to submit like a 12-page paper, a 20-minute podcast, an entire website. And so that was a lot, but honestly the course itself is really easy and I liked it. While we're talking about academics, I also wanted to touch briefly on the focus program. So again, this is another thing that jumpstarts during the summer because you have to apply for these programs. But basically what a focus program is, it's helpful for like bonding in my opinion, because it's only for your fall semester freshman year, and you take 2 classes I think with the same group of people, and it's a seminar style class, so it's a really small group, and you have these 2 classes together, as well as you have these like weekly meals, so it's like a good bonding experience with those people. Personally, I did not do a focus program because, well, I applied and then I got in, but I decided decided against it because I wanted to take classes that I really enjoyed, and I knew I kind of wanted to double major, so every class is like really valuable to me. But I've had friends who did it and loved it, and it's just like a good experience to like get to know people and make some friends that way. And then before I wrap this up, I just wanted to talk about my experience again. I am hoping to double major in psychology and theater studies with a finance minor. So if anybody has any specific questions about those, feel free to let me know. Just come in with an open mind is my suggestion. Okay, next, I want to talk about extracurriculars a little bit. First of all, this is not something you have to worry about at all right now, but I wanted to touch on work study first because this was a big part of my freshman year. If you're approved for federal work study, you get to apply for these work study jobs on the JobX website. My biggest tip here is to apply to them before you get to campus. I know I literally did mine the night before move-in, but I think that made a big difference because I heard from a lot of my applications. I applied to 10. Even if it was just a rejection, I heard back. I held down 2 jobs this year. One, if you see my vlogs, you see me working in the costume shop. This was one of my work studies. I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. It's just really great to move your body around after like sitting in classes and just doing something creative and sewing, and honestly it was just a great work environment. I loved it a lot. I didn't even think about it like work, so it was just really great. And then the second work study I did was at the Duke Institute of Brain Sciences, or DIBS, and I started off as someone who like helped set up the colloquiums, but then after I got injured I moved to a remote job where I worked like the marketing and communications side, putting together the newsletter and working on their website and email lists and stuff like that. So 2 very different work study jobs, but honestly both really worth it. Just want to say it's super manageable and you should totally do it. And the second portion of the extracurriculars that I wanted to touch on was clubs. Honestly, don't worry at all because like the first week of classes back, there's this huge club fair and it's literally on East Campus, but all of these clubs set up tables, and I will have you know that Duke has so many student organizations. They have over 600, so honestly there's something for everyone, and this is just a good chance to like wander around and talk to different orgs. I did 2 clubs this year. I joined and pledged a business fraternity, and then I was on the exec board for our Korean American Society Kajok. If you have any specific questions about those, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, before this video gets too long, I wanted to briefly touch on food. All of the freshmen at Duke are on the same dining plan. You have food swipes and you have food points. Food swipes are where you think it is. You swipe in and then you get a buffet style all you can eat, and this only works for Marketplace, which is the East Campus dining hall, and it only works for breakfast and dinner. Food points is just like money, and this works for Woo, which is the West Campus dining hall, as well as Marketplace lunch. Basically, if you eat breakfast and dinner on East Campus and you have a lot of your classes on West, so if you eat lunch on West, you should be all set. I had rehearsals second semester on West Campus, so I ended up eating dinner on West a lot, and so I burnt through a lot of my food points and ended up running out towards the end. But yeah, Duke food is so good. It's so good. I think we literally ranked first one year for food. Woo, so like West Campus dining hall is the big one with all the little restaurants, which are so good, but East Campus Marketplace is also really good. A lot of my friends got tired of it. Honestly, I never got tired of the food. Like, I ate that stuff up. Okay, I think I covered everything. My Instagram comes at the end of this video, so if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or leave a comment. I'm happy to answer any questions about Duke. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.